If you work in comms, it might be time to diversify your skills because AI has announced that they've got a wonderful model for creative writing and they're about to release it. Can you imagine how many sectors this puts out of a job? Sam Altman, who's OpenAI chief exec, tweeted, "We've trained a new model that is good at creative writing. Not sure yet how, when it will get released. This is the first time I have been really struck by something written by AI. It got the vibe of metafiction so right." So if you're a script writer, if you work in comms anywhere, if you're a journo, you want to pay careful attention to when and if, as Sam Altman says, this thing will be released, because we've already talked at length about how this thing can write a great email. If you're like, I need to fire 50 employees under these circumstances, write something that's really professional, really polite. AI just spits it out within seconds.
Dear employees, you shouldn't have touched that wombat.
There's a lot of people who have already been using this. In fact, even if you're sending a DM or an email nowadays, if you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, there's a little AI helper saying, hey, do you just tell me what you want to say? I'll write it for you. And if you write it and you feel like it's a little bit clumsy, you can just click on the little AI symbol and AI will be like, here's a better way of saying what you've said. People are loving this, and we as human beings are losing the capacity to communicate with each other at lightning speed. It's frightening. But when you consider this being released, a specific creative writing AI, we're talking about a whole different kettle of fish. Like, this is its main job. It's what it's been trained to do.
I don't think it's going to take off because it's really not creative. It's an aggregate of what everybody else has written. And it's really good until you realise it's AI. And then who wants to read a novel written by AI because the emotion is all fake, the human experience is all manufactured. When you realise, and I think we're wowed by what AI can do, but the content becomes meaningless when it's just algorithms, really.
Well, it does if you know that they're algorithms. There are plenty of people who buy, and I'm not being snobbish about this or whatever, but, you know, there are plenty of best-selling books that follow a really specific formula. So you even have books that have the so-called author's name on the title, but it's not even written by them, it's written by someone else. So you'd have like Tom Clancy, you know, actually written by another Jack, whatever it is, or something, or one of them. I'm sure AI could do that very easily. But again, this is already AI is writing, it's writing emails. We know it can do that. That actually makes sense because you say, all right, you respond to this stimulus based on everything you've aggregated from the web. We know that AI is already writing journalism, so it's writing things like sports reports, and you probably read it without even knowing that. But to be able to do actual creative writing, to be able to write something that is meant to, and the whole purpose of creative writing is that it makes the reader feel empathy with the characters in it. And so you have to feel a connection. If it does this successfully, it means that a human being will be feeling an emotional connection with a robot or with a computer program. Now that is Terminator level crazy stuff.
The other problem,
if it can do that, then...
The other issue they've not resolved yet here is the copyright issue, because to train AI to write creative novels, the AI has to consume a huge ream of fiction, of news articles.
Can do in seconds.
But New York Times is now suing creators of AI because they've been using New York Times articles and journals to train AI, but without permission because it breaches copyright. There's a whole lot of authors who are also launching a class action at the moment. So that's a big issue with AI that they've not yet resolved, because you've got to have material to train it, but all of that material is under copyright.
But also, nothing is going to be a lightning rod for the public imagination if it's been done before. Like, writing Shakespeare again isn't Shakespeare. Why Shakespeare is amazing is because he was writing something new. He was bringing new ideas about what it meant to be human into the public domain, and people were going, oh my God, that's incredible. That's something we've never seen on the stage before. So again, something like, if you take like a high-end kind of blockbuster like Hilary Mantel's Wolf Hall, would AI be able to say, instead of just aggregating everything that's been written about the Tudor period, would it be able to say to itself, what would be a really good and popular idea for a novel, most British people who are the highest per capita book buying public are fascinated with the Tudors more than any other period of history, which is all true. Therefore, I'm going to write a fictional history of the Tudors from the opposite point of view that everyone else has already seen it. And I am then going to get inside the head of that protagonist and make him sympathetic to the reader who has already known him as being one of the monsters of history. Now, that's what Hilary Mantel did. If AI can do that, all over. Just go to your...
Liz, you raised a great question off air. You were talking about the fact that the real thing that AI raises now is what does it actually mean to be human when robots start doing things that humans do and we can barely tell the difference? The question becomes, what really does it mean to be human?
And this will be the question of the 21st century and for centuries to come if we're around for that long. Because this is what we're going to be competing against. And then we've got guys like Elon Musk saying, unless we want to become monkeys on our own planet, we are going to all start having these chips implanted that enable us to keep up with AI. So when I'm sitting here at the desk, I've got every fact and figure in my head ready to go. It's almost like I am reading off my own knowledge base, which isn't human. It's being generated by a chip in my brain. And he's saying those who will refuse the chip, you're just going to be left behind. It doesn't matter what your job is.
The only way we become the monkeys is if AI become the humans.
Sorry.
So what he's saying is there will be an advanced species, an advanced race of AI that will be the dominant.
Well, this is the first time in human history that we have created something with the capacity to become far smarter than us. We have been the smartest beings on the planet for as long as we know, and now we're dumb enough to invent something that could overpower us.